So in this video, I'm going to be analysing why I think United's first goal against Copenhagen, scored by Rasmus Hojlund, perfectly exemplified exactly what Ten Hag wants his side to do in possession. But before I get into that, if you do want to see my match report on the Bayern Munich Borussia Dortmund game, my Patreon will be linked in the description below. But if you do want cheap, great quality football jerseys, go over to www.jerseyfifa.com. They have both current season and retro jerseys. I do have a few jerseys from Jersey FIFA, including this France 98 Zidane shirt, as well as a Beckham 99 Manchester United shirt, and a Brazil 98 R9 shirt as well. So if you do want to pick up some jerseys, I'll leave the link in my Instagram bio. My Instagram will be linked in the description. And if you use code ATLANTIS at checkout, you should also get a discount as well. So here we can see at the start of the game, in the pre-build up to Hojlund's opening goal, that Copenhagen are defending in a fairly high 4-4-2 diamond shape, with Klaassen sitting slightly deeper but between Elianusi and Ashuri. And this is a pressing shape that United have faced a lot, with many sides including Copenhagen in the first game, Sheffield United and Brentford all using this narrow front three, creating a V shape with a player behind the front two, working to cut the passing lanes into deeper line midfielders between their forward and midfield lines, which was exactly what Copenhagen did to United, having an extremely horizontally and vertically compact 3-3 shape, with the forward and midfield lines stopping United working the ball from the centre backs into McTominay and Eriksen in that double pivot. But whilst United were successfully restricted from progressing the ball through the centre of the pitch, they were able to do it from out wide, and this is what led to the opening goal. We can see here as Johnny Evans works the ball into Maguire on the right side. Not only are United using a lopsided 3-3 shape in possession with Dalot tucked in on the left to create a back three with Evans and Maguire, but also that Copenhagen's 4-3-3 works well to close off the half spaces where the likes of Fernandes and Rashford want to drop into to pick up the ball. And so with no way forward, United are forced back to Onana as the two centre backs now split in order to create a back three with the keeper. Now, even though some people may interpret Maguire's pass back to Onana as pretty negative play, with United having the ball at that point in the middle third, it's actually a pass that was crucial to this goal, as whilst it is essentially retreating, what happens is it almost baits a Copenhagen front line into launching an aggressive press high up the field, and as the front three push up to pressurise Onana and the two centre backs, the Copenhagen midfield line is now forward to push forward in order to keep the press vertically compact. But the effect of this is that it leaves the Copenhagen back line slightly isolated, as they can only push up to the halfway line, meaning that when the forward and midfield lines are committed to the press in United's defensive third, Copenhagen's vertically compact defensive shape has now turned into a more stretched pressing shape, with space in behind the midfield, all triggered because Maguire played the pass back to Onana and either directly or indirectly baited the Copenhagen press. And United were able to take advantage of this space to devastating effect. As Evans plays a pass into Dalot on the flank, you're initially thinking that United have managed to box themselves in, with Copenhagen committing 4 or 5 men forward to the press essentially in United's corner. However, Dalot does fantastically and shows exactly why I rate him so highly, despite a defensive error every now and then. He could maybe have played a 1-2 with Eriksen around the pressing midfielder, but Dalot doesn't need him and instead drives up the line, carrying the ball past the Copenhagen pressing line, and this completely opens up the Copenhagen midfield, as Falk at the base of the Copenhagen diamond has to shift over to his right, vacating a massive amount of space centrally to his left, and Bruno Fernandes just holds his position there, but most impressively Dalot finds him with a left-footed splitting pass, and now United have played out of the press, now looking to progress the ball into the final third, which all stemmed from United going backwards and baiting Copenhagen, with Dalot then having the ball carrying vision and passing ability on his weaker left foot in order to take advantage of the space that was created. But Bruno Fernandes also deserves a massive amount of credit for having the awareness to first see the switch of play out to Marcus Rashford, but secondly for receiving possession and getting the ball out of his feet so quickly to loft a left-footed pass out to Marcus Rashford, setting United up for a 2v1 with Aaron Wan-Bissaka bursting forward on the underlap. Now from this position, I think Marcus Rashford could maybe have played a more curled pass a tad earlier, potentially allowing Wan-Bissaka to drive directly into the box, but that passing lane is being half cut off by the fullback, who did move out quickly, and so it's still a good pass down the line from Rashford for Wan-Bissaka, even though he is forced to check back. But now United have successfully and efficiently progressed the ball through Copenhagen's press, into Bruno Fernandes in the middle third, and now out to Wan-Bissaka and Rashford, who have possession in a 2v2 in the final third on the right flank. And this next part is probably the most impressive part of the goal as a whole. From this position, McTominay recognises that no one from the Copenhagen midfield line has dropped to fill the space between the centre-back and full-back on the left side. And with Rashford and Wan-Bissaka in a 2v2 high and wide on the right, there's a space and the opportunity for McTominay to make a storming third man run. And to be fair, Wan-Bissaka, who I have been heavily critical of, specifically from a technical point of view, actually does incredibly well here, and did throughout the match, and not just at keeping possession but also at releasing passes at the right time, which he does to perfection, splitting the two Copenhagen players on United's right, and in doing so releasing Scott McTominay into a wide position in the box. In this position, McTominay really only has two options: a cut back to the edge of the box or flash a pass across goal. Fortunately, Bruno Fernandes is arriving late on the edge of the box, but even more fortunately, Hojlund has recognised where the opportunity is going to come from, and so he fakes to make a run across the defender before halting his run and bursting off into the opposite direction, and McTominay's cross has the pace to match the accuracy, meeting Hojlund's left foot for a tap-in. And in my opinion, this was the best goal of United's season so far, as it encapsulates exactly what Ten Hag's side want to do in possession. First of all, United are able to play out of high pressure in their defensive third, which I think is Ten Hag's preferred way of building attacks, because it creates space between the lines for Bruno Fernandes. But as I've said on so many occasions, you need players who are technically immaculate and composed under pressure close to their goal, and Dalot is all of these things. His ability to play off both feet is obviously essential with him playing on the left side, and it's this kind of versatility that I think makes him so valuable to Ten Hag, being able to comfortably play in either wide or central areas. But Bruno Fernandes' positioning is also key. You don't really want him dropping deep to help the side progress the ball from in front of the opposition's midfield line. You instead want him situated in behind the midfield line, as he is in this piece of play, and that's because not only is Bruno Fernandes prone to forcing the play from deeper areas, often trying Hollywood passes that the majority of the time just hand possession back to the opposition, but also mainly because of his ability to play through balls and switches of play like this, which makes him arguably the best creator in the Premier League. Rashford and Wan-Bissaka's link play down the right channel is also something I love to see, and I think it underlines why Rashford has been struggling on the left. Since Sergio Reguilón's departure from the starting 11, Rashford hasn't had a constant over and underlapping threat behind him. If when Bruno Fernandes goes to play this switch of play, Wan-Bissaka is not racing to get forward, Rashford, once he controls the ball, would have to fall back in a 1v1. And on the left side, I think this is one of those positions where Rashford would hold on to the ball for too long before struggling to beat his man and almost holding up the attack, allowing the opposition to shift over and close off the space. However, Wan-Bissaka's underlapping run is timed so well that it almost forces Rashford to play the pass down the line. Now, I don't know if McTominay's third man run was planned in training or if it was all just spontaneous, but Rashford holding a deeper position on the flank to drag the second Copenhagen player out of that area in behind the fullback worked perfectly to create the space for McTominay, and Wan-Bissaka's timing of the pass in field was also spot on as well. And this to me is the exact type of goal I want to see McTominay providing more often, as he kind of reminds me of someone like Leon Goretzka, a central midfielder who isn't known for his creative and incisive passing from deeper positions, but like McTominay is more of a box threat, whilst also having the athleticism and physicality to play more as a box-to-box midfielder. Now, McTominay certainly isn't at the level of Goretzka or even a similar midfielder like Valverde, but I do think he's the same style of midfielder and would benefit from playing a similar role. I released a 5 or 6 minute match report on the Dortmund Bayern Munich game from the weekend on my Patreon, and I'll do it for some other videos this week as well. So if you do want to watch me giving my thoughts on the game whilst watching the highlights as well, you can sign up to my Patreon for $5 a month, but you can also get a 7-day free trial as well, and I am planning to put these on Spotify as well. And so I'll leave the link to my Patreon in the description below. But in that video I analysed Bayern Munich's second and Harry Kane's first in that match, and Goretzka's ability to carry the ball powerfully through the centre of the pitch after picking up the ball from Sane on the edge of Bayern Munich's defensive third was truly world class, as he and Sane absolutely blitzed through Dortmund, creating the chance for Harry Kane. I think if McTominay can develop this kind of ball carrying ability in central positions, then alongside his goal scoring and his goal creating in the final third, it is plausible that he's able to develop himself to the point where he can nail down a starting 11 spot. Now, I am planning to release some more videos on the Copenhagen game, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get notified when my videos come out. But until then, you can check out some of my other videos which will be linked in the description, and put your thoughts on the game in the comments section below as well.